Average Joe's Drive-In is proudly sponsored by the Maine Cannababes. The Cannababes are a charity group of pro-cannabis women from the state of Maine who are bringing worthy attention to various causes in the medical cannabis community. This year, they launched their very first Maine Cannababes pinup calendar, which they are taking pre-orders for as we speak. All the proceeds from the calendar are going to worthy charitable causes. If you are interested in purchasing one or finding out more about the Cannababes, you can go to their website, www.maincannababes.com, or find them on most major forms of social media like Facebook and Instagram. If you order a calendar and enter the code word Average Joe's Drive-In, you could win a chance to get an autographed picture of your favorite Maine Cannababe. Once again, put in the code word Average Joe's Drive-In for a chance to win an autographed picture of your favorite Maine Cannababe.
Welcome to Average Joe's Drive-In, your weekly podcast on movies, music, games, and other things entertainment related. Now, your host, TJ Washburn.
Welcome to Average Joe's Drive-In. I'm your host, TJ Washburn, and with me today is my friend Jay Cochran from the band Holy Filth, tattoo artist, pyrographer, all-around good guy. But before we get started, I want to tell you guys a little bit about my sponsor, the Maine Cannababes. The offer for the code deal, it's going to be a few more days before that is set up on the website. So if you, as I mentioned in the ad, if you put in the code Average Joe's Drive-In, you will get a chance to win an autographed picture from your favorite Maine Cannababes. And I was talking to the founder of the Cannababes, and he said it would be a few days and it will be up. And yeah. So yes, with me is my friend Jay Cochran. How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing very well. How are you, TJ?
I'm not bad. It's Monday. It's been one of them days, but hey, it's good to have a old friend. Me and Jay have known each other for years through many bands and shows
Many bands.
All kinds of good stuff. So Jay, why don't you tell everybody at home a little bit about yourself?
All right. Well, I haven't done one of these since I was in first day of high school. Yeah. Born and raised in Bangor. I love going outside, hanging out. Never been a sports guy. That's one of my biggest downfalls. I feel like I've noticed whenever I'm talking to a lot of people is that I don't know anything about sports. So that really it either makes a conversation better or way worse real fast. Depends on who it is, but live out in Stetson, out in the woods now with my beautiful fiance. I have a baby on the way.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, about a month away. Gonna have a little boy.
Awesome.
So my world is about to just.
Have you bought a little drum kit yet?
No, not yet. Not yet. That will happen. I'm really excited about that. It's like trying to figure out that fine line on not force feeding something down his throat, but also trying to get him to maybe enjoy the same things I do.
It'll happen one way or the other. He'll see Daddy jamming out and just naturally want to do that sort of thing. So
yeah, I would think so. I mean, well, he's got. I try to do a little bit of everything, so. He's going to have options to try a lot of stuff, and he's either going to be really okay at a lot of things or very good at one or two things.
Yeah.
And that's all I can ask for.
Right. And he might inherit mom's traits as far as what she's good at, so.
Oh, dude, he's probably going to be playing music and saving dogs, and our house is just, oh my God. We already have 6 dogs. And 3 cats and a bunny rabbit.
I would be on my way to the hospital dying right now, because I'm severely allergic to animals. I love them, but very allergic. So yeah.
Yeah, thankfully I'm not. Yeah.
So yeah, you play drums in the band Holy Filth. How long have you been playing with them?
I think July was 3 years. And I want to say that this Halloween is the band's either 4th or 5th year. as a band. But I've been in the band a little over 3 years.
And this interview works out perfectly for timing because I didn't even think about this, but I see it the other day on the band's website. Enter the Realm of Eternal Dark Reverie turned a year old the other day. So
Yeah, on Saturday.
Which is, by the way, and I'm not saying this just because Jay's here. That's like one of my favorite all-time like main metal band albums ever. It's right up there with like Nobis's Blurred Sense of Divine and like anything Donnybrook put out, and all those bands. So I constantly listen to the album, and I'm gonna play a cut off this is the first time I've ever played a song by a band on here, even though I have interviewed bands. So perfect. I'm gonna play Wrath of the Tempestari. I think I said that right. The names are very long on these songs, but they're very awesome. And this song is just, the whole thing is amazing, and it's like 9 minutes long. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed listening to it, and always enjoy listening to it. So, tell me a little bit about the band, and just obviously everybody just got to hear the song, but tell me a little bit about the band. And
I will say, speaking of that song, that band, that song is way more fun to listen to than it is to play on the drums.
I can imagine.
That's one of those songs where I wrote it with a lot of ambition, but then realized that I had to play that song. It wasn't just writing it. If we wanted to play a show and Brian would be like, "Hey, let's play Wrath," I'd just be like, "Shit.
Can we open with that so I'm all not tired, ready to fall asleep?"
Well, no, but that's the worst part, is that I got to play it in the middle because I got to warm up before I can play it.
Right.
But I can't be too tired before I actually play it as well. And I mean, there's probably other drummers that hear it and just screw you, that's not that hard. But to me,
right,
trying to play it as a 32-year-old man, that hasn't really taken care of himself all that well.
Dude, 5-minute songs used to kill me. I was a singer, so it's I absolutely understand that.
Yeah.
So that was your first full-length album. I know there was
Yeah.
a few EPs and stuff out before that, and
well, I mean, the thing about Holy Filth though too is just not necessarily just Holy Filth. Ryan and I, this is our third band together.
right.
So this is our, not just with this band, the first full length. This is our first full
length with any of the bands you played in.
Finished.
Wow.
Legend has it we recorded a full length, but we never really finished it. We never pressed it. We never released it. Past time, we wrote almost 10 songs and were ready to record an album. Band broke up. I can't even remember any of those songs. They're just gone. So, to be able to not only write all these songs together, but then to actually record them, we had Nick Renfro's dad do the artwork for it. So we had somebody do personalized artwork. We actually had it pressed and everything. We had a CD release party. That was the first of any of that, and
Yeah.
it was awesome. They're gone. I mean, we only did the one press of them, and we hope to do another one. But yeah, they're gone. I don't even have one.
You can get it on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
You can get it on a digital version on Bandcamp,
That's
which is
true.
that's the way to get it. That's what all the kids are doing these days, using the digital means. But it's been cool. You guys were playing back. Started out, I think, right about the time my last regular band I was still in, Salvo. I think you guys were just starting to play out. I don't even think you were in the band.
I don't think
yet.
I was in the band yet.
Because I know Ethan had played in a band with me before, and then I think they were just starting out kind of when I was kind of getting done. But we did get to play one show together, which was awesome, and I did enjoy that.
Yeah, that was at The Cave?
The Cave.
That was
the last cave show ever.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes.
Hopefully once Kathy kicks leukemia's ass and does that thing, maybe there's a shot for the Cave to open up again one day. Because
she's mentioned it, so I mean, it's not far fetched.
I've played a lot of venues hundreds of venues over the years, and that's still my favorite place ever to play. So
and the thing is, like, real quick, when you're talking about the Cave, because the Cave deserves to be mentioned anytime that it can, and Kathy especially. I mean, Kathy, I try to tell Kathy, I remind her, don't ever forget that you helped raise a generation.
Oh yeah.
She straight up did. She might not realize it as much, just from being an outsider, but so many people that that I know, that all were back in teenage days, whatever, like, that was our escape, that was our place to go. She just treated everybody like they were equals. She's out there moshing with us, man.
The one great thing about Kathy is Kathy treats everybody as equal, and you have to earn your respect with Kathy. She doesn't let anybody just come in and be like, I'm the shit.
Yeah.
And whatever. She's like, no, you've got to prove to me that I should think that way and whatever. And she's like one of the most giving, awesome people ever. And so keep kicking cancer's ass, Kathy. We've all got your back, and we all love you. And hopefully the Cave will rise again one day.
The
Cave will rise again. So
Sure. Well, the thing is also, like, with the whole respect thing, earn a respect. What I love about Kathy, though, is you had to earn the respect, but it wasn't hard. It was literally just being a genuine person.
Not being an asshole goes a long way.
It wasn't like going through a gauntlet or anything. You just literally had to do the most common sense thing, is just treat people how you want to be treated.
Oh, that was it. Oh yeah, some of the funnest shows I've ever I'm not downplaying some of the huge shows I got to play, but some of the funnest shows I ever played were at the Cave for 60, 70 people.
Oh, hell yeah.
And
you had 60, 70 at yours?
Some of them.
I was excited when there was 20 shows.
I look at the perspective. The biggest show I ever played was for 11,000. So that
Holy
was
shit.
That was,
Good Lord, where was that?
When we played with Seven Dust, Chevelle, Puddle of Mud, and it was like the second or third Oxfest.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, that was.
I never got.
That was amazing. That was like the one time I think I've only felt like a real musician a few times in my life, and walking out and having like 3,000 people throwing the horns is just like, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is awesome,
Dude, that's cool, man.
But I appreciate it because, like you, I've played shows for like the other bands.
Oh, yeah.
And like nobody shows up other than the other bands. So.
Yeah, man. Like, that's the thing about like going on tour and stuff, that a lot of people, they think, oh, you're on tour. Like, it immediately, going on tour comes with this perception of glitz and glam and like you've made it. But it's no. I'm going on a tiny road trip with all the money that I have to my name, and I'm not coming back with any of it.
Just to basically hang out with my friends and play music for 10 people at each show if we're lucky.
I think I went one full week. I went 7 days without a shower down in the butthole of the U.S. I'm not gonna specifically say anywhere, but it was so hot that I was sitting, pouring sweat, doing nothing, and like 7 days in a row doing that, and just so I could play drums in front of people that I don't know at all. And
out of the 10, 5 of them don't care. They're just there because one of their friends' bands is playing.
Oh, dude, there was one time that we played in North Carolina. It was this bookstore, and they had a garage out back, and we were booked on this show, and 2 people came to this show, but they legit came to see our band Legend Has It. So we played. Like, we had to play. I mean, they were legitimately North Carolina there to see my band play. They knew the words to our songs, and they sang along. Those two kids, they sang along, man.
But, but that's something you still remember today.
Oh, yeah, I'll always remember
We
that.
played Us, Widow Sunday, back when I was in the Kingdom of Nightmares. Us, Widow Sunday, and Salvo. And a band from Rhode Island played a show in Manchester, New Hampshire. And the only person that showed up was the owner of Ratback Records. There was not a single person there to see any of us other than the bands and like the staff, because the guy booked us on a rap night. Mm-hmm. So everybody that was coming in, as soon as they heard the music, they turned around and left. So we played for nobody, but we had, like, it was just, and the sound guy was a complete dick the whole time and just being an asshole.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but, you know, and I understand the thing about the shower, like the first little mini, you know, I never did any long tours. It was all like 3 or 4 days, you know, like Mass, New Hampshire, couple shows in Maine or whatever. But I remember we did, like, we were supposed to do 5 shows. 2 of the shows got canceled. We got to New Hampshire, had no money left to come back because we were relying on the money from the shows. Didn't have any money for food, had nothing, and some like random dude gave us like $50 to help us with gas, and so we could like get a hamburger and get home. Because there was only like 4 people at the show, and that was, the bands were supposed to split the door cut, and so we made like nothing, and it was just, you know, that's what, you know, for most of the experiences I ever had on the road, that was pretty much sums them up right there. But I always had fun because I got to hang out with my friends and play music for 4 or 5 days, you know. That was so.
Well, that's the thing with Holy Filth, that we're at the point though now that's really nice is we take it seriously. We do, you know, we kick ass at practice. We make sure that we get the stuff down. We play the shows that we think now, not like, there's a certain point where you get to where it's not like you're being arrogant by turning down certain shows, but you get to a point where you deserve to say no thank you. You know, I know what that's like, and I just am at a point where I don't need to play that show. But
when you stop, I guess, I mean, you know, every time when you're still a musician and you're playing, you always have, like, I always like to refer to it as the pipe dream of doing this professionally and go, you know, making money and doing it. But you get to a point where you realize, okay, I'm at this age point now where I've got a mortgage and a kid on the way, and bills and responsibilities, and if I'm going to do it, it's going to be strictly for fun, and I'm going to play the shows we want to play, and I'm not going to worry about, back in the day, my first big band that I was in, like, when Tomorrow's Tragedy first started, we played every single show we could play. It didn't matter if we knew there was going to be 3 people there, we would go play it. You know, as I got older, it's like, nah, I don't really feel like driving to Portland tonight on a Thursday to play for 8 people. Sorry, you know. And it wasn't because I didn't want to play, but it's like, I have to get up and work in the morning, and it's just not worth it. I'm past the point of thinking I'm going to do this for a living, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, like, it's just nice to be finally at a point where we're all on the same page. There's no one person in the band being like, you guys, we just need that one person to see us, and we're gonna just skyrocket to the top.
And every band I've ever played in, there's always been that one dude. Whether everybody else is like, no, we're just gonna do it. But man, if we can just do this one tour with this band, it's gonna break us, man. We can go.
Yeah.
You know, I got to the point where early on with Tomorrow's Strat, we had a chance. We had the paperwork to sign a record deal, and some weird shit happened at the last minute, and the record label ceased to be. And you know, it was like a developmental contract type thing where they were gonna push us really hard for a year, and that was as close as I really ever got right there, you know.
See, this is like a life hack right now that I'm gonna say to you, I'm gonna say to whoever's listening to us and all that, is you realize that there's a certain point where every single job, there are a bunch of people that want to do that job. So you're gonna have people that are very good at it, you're gonna have people that are very bad at it, you're gonna have people that are okay at it. So it's the same as musicians, it's the same with record labels, it's the same with managers, it's the same with photographers, it's the same with any of that. You have people that either go, You have people that are terrible at it. You have people that are constantly in it and trying to do it. But we're all people at the end of the day. So, yeah, you have somebody that's like, this is our goal. We're going to make you the next star. But everything just fell out from under me. I can't do it anymore. Sorry. See you later. Bye.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the music business or anything like that is a very dog-eat-dog world. And you got to realize that, yeah, you're looking for a manager. You're looking for somebody to promote you. But that guy still needs to eat at the end of the day.
He's got to make money.
You know? He
Yeah.
still needs to survive.
Yeah.
So he's going to do whatever he needs to survive. And when you're in a business like that, the unfortunate part is the people that are the artists are your fuel for everything in your life.
Oh yeah.
So it's just you come to a point where you either can do it and you go and everything clicks like this puzzle, like all the planets aligned, and it's just like 1,000 people are vying for a job only open for 3 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And let's face it, and I'm not dissing anybody or anything like this. For every 1,000 musicians, there is maybe 10 that are like professional caliber musicians,
Right.
that are capable of writing those songs.
Yeah.
The majority of us, at least I always feel, and I'm not lumping you in that category, but the majority of us fall in somewhere in between. We're not, we're not friggin' Toshin Elbassan or Mike Lassard or whoever, we're good. But maybe we just don't have that whatever it is that just somebody's looking for, and so. But honestly, like, listen, like I said, I'm not kissing your ass, but I love the album. Like, Holy Filth to me could be on the road touring because you guys are as good as pretty much any like thrash doomish type metal band that's out there right now. Seriously, like, I don't say that lightly because that's my genre of that is my genre of music.
And I really appreciate hearing you say that, and I don't disagree. And it sucks because you get to a point where, like, in the music world or whatever, you're a dick if you like your own stuff.
I still listen to band stuff that I was in,
right? And I mean, and I do too, but I also listen to other bands, and it's like, how come it's okay for me to listen to the same Guns N' Roses song every single day on the radio, but it's not okay for me to be like, hey, I'm actually good, like, I actually do a good job, and I
my whole thing, like, playing music is I always tried to write songs that I liked. So if I liked my own songs and I actually enjoyed listening to them, I hoped everybody else would like them. So I still like to go back and listen to them. I don't do it as much now. I had to for a little bit because I did a few reunion shows, the last couple of years. And I had forgotten lyrics to 2/3 of the songs, even though I've played them 8,000 times, and it happens. So, but yeah, I mean, so much of the music business and I've been in different levels of the business, so. And you see stuff. So much of the music business is being in the right place at the right time and catching lightning in a bottle, basically. You look at the whole Massachusetts metal scene with Unearth and Killswitch Engage and Shadows Fall, and you keep naming the bands down the list that all come out of there. They were in the right place at the right time with the right blend of music, and it popped.
Yeah. And
I always thought there was, for a while, for a long time, I thought Maine had a chance to have something like that happen because there was a really good group of bands for a long time, and any one of them were good enough to pop. If one would have really taken off, I think it just would have paved the way, much like it did with the Massachusetts metal scene in the mid-90s, But it didn't. Whatever. It is what it is. We're not being bitter. We're sitting here,
We're all still just stuck.
We're still here. I'm pretty much retired. I don't do anything musically anymore, which I kind of miss, but...
Oh, well, real quick, I do, like, as much as you feel like you have to explain yourself always, because as much as I do, I'm like, yeah, I like my band. I think we are as good as any other, like, doom thrash metal band out there. But, like, I'm not an arrogant person at all. I just, like, I know that it takes, like, the right person, and that's, like, what it comes down to is that it's literally like a line of things that need to all come together. And you have to be... That's the other thing, though, is, like, as much as I know that Holy Filth could take off if they were in the right spot, us three as individuals are not those people anymore.
Right.
So we do not have the ambition
when
to
I
be
was,
like out
you
on
know,
the road anymore.
And that was the thing. When I hit my early 30s, Salvo we had just signed a management contract. The guy had like legit bands under him, wanted to start putting us out on the road for a couple weeks here, a couple weeks there. I'm like, I can't do it. I have a pretty good job and a mortgage, and I can't, like, to be honest and fair, I'll tell you, that was the shittiest, hardest decision I ever had to make. Because I had been working towards that ever since I started playing.
Right.
And it's like, you get to that point, but then, like, the adult side of you kicks in, and you're like, God damn it, I don't want to listen to myself, you know? Because I want to follow my dream still, but realistically, I know what that's going to entail, and you know, the whole band making $50 a night and getting a pizza for, you know, our...
You got a pizza?
We got a pizza. The few shows we did under our management, we actually got, like, fed and stuff. It was awesome. I was like, we got chicken wings and pizza? This is awesome.
Yeah.
I've been waiting 10 years for this, you know?
That's, like, one of the biggest things promoters don't understand is that, like, okay, fine, you didn't make any money off the door.
Make me some grilled cheese, something. I don't care.
Yeah, you didn't make any money at the door, fine. Just feed me, okay? Like, don't send me away hungry and broke, you know? Just, like, give me a hot dog and we'll be happy.
Pretty much, where most musicians are very, like, easy to please as far as that little bit of kindness goes a long way, you know? That was, like I said, the guy giving us $50 so we could each get a hamburger and have enough money to get back to Maine, you know?
That doesn't happen a lot, man. A guy, Holy Filth, we just played at Gino's like a month ago, and a guy loved our band so much he just gave me $20. He was like, "Here you go for the band, dude. Here's 20." I'm like, "Do you want a CD?" He was like, "No. I just want you guys to have like this $20."
And I will say this, and I might be biased, but metal fans are some of the most awesome people around because they actually do give a shit about the bands most of the time.
They're mostly middle class, blue collar people.
Working stiff, you know, yeah.
Exactly. So they get it. They know what it's like. They know that we work. We know that, like, most of the bands that we go and see, we were down in Florida one time. We saw some big bands playing, and there was like nobody there. And it was just one of those nights that you realize that there's, you know, you see the really nice nights. But, like,
you don't see all the shitty nights in between.
You don't see the Tuesday nights in Arkansas where nobody came out to the show.
All I can think of is there was a meme. It's like, we'd like to thank Timmy for coming out tonight. There's like the one dude standing in front of the band, you know.
For real. But it's like, you know, I will say that even being at the point at 32 years old, I got my son on the way, which I've never been more excited about anything in my life. I got to mark off the West Coast tour off of my bucket list.
Because you did that with Hessian.
With Hessian.
Right?
Yeah. Holy Filth, all of us, we got to fill in with Hessian and go over, and we flew into Denver, Colorado, and we traveled to Vegas and down to California and up to Portland, Oregon, and over to Boise, Idaho. That, like, I had done the East Coast a bunch. East Coast, down to Florida, over to Texas, you know, Ohio, New York, Pennsylvania, all that. But we had never, you know, made it all the way over the West Coast.
Yeah, that was the one thing I really never got to do in a band. We had like a 2-week tour scheduled at one time, or a 3-week tour scheduled at one time. Like, had paid a guy to book the tour, the whole thing, and with our friends band Remembrance from Michigan, we were going to meet up, tour for 3 weeks, and then if everything went decent, we were going to keep working with this guy, and the dude ended up like completely screwing us over, stole a bunch of money from us, never booked any of the dates, because we had to give him a deposit, you know, and all this bullshit, and young and stupid, and just, you know, it was one of those things, but it was a great lesson. I learned a great lesson from that. You know, that's what the whole music thing always seemed to me as to be like one giant life lesson. You learn a lot being in a band that you may not necessarily see from the outside world's perspective. So I found a lot of musicians are very positive, upbeat people too, for the most part.
Well, because they're artists.
You know, so, but they tend to see things from a different perspective than a lot of people do. I just, you know, it's different, but yeah.
No, I think like one of my favorite things about, you know, meeting people that are artists that write or make movies or draw or anything like that, they're just like most of the time, a lot of them are so good at what they do, but they're so quick to either say, I could be better, or you can do that too, man. You know, like, you can do it. You know, we all started at the same spot. And you just got to work your way up to it. And, you know, it's like one of the biggest red flags about being a musician when you know somebody's just a douche is when they come up to you talking about how good they are and this is where you can see it and this is where you can hear it and whatever, and they're just like just all up their own ass. You know, it's the people that are the best
are the most humble.
Are the ones that are like, nah,
dude, I'm not that good.
Really
no,
that good.
You're making, dude. I always felt odd whenever anybody gave me a compliment about anything. I'd get that all like, oh shucks, kind of looking at the ground and kicking the dirt. Just, it's like my crush just talked to me. This is,
right.
It's like I'm not that good. Jeez, man, don't say that. You're making me feel funny. You know, I always felt like that when anybody ever give me a compliment.
I think I'm bisexual.
They're just being nice. They're just being nice to me because they don't want me to feel bad. You know, they think I suck. You know, And musicians are also the most self-deprecating people on the planet. So they're their own worst critics. So if you aren't friends with musicians or have some in your family, I don't think you fully understand that. But
now the new thing is we just laugh about the term sick set. Sick set, bro.
Dude, that was awesome, bro.
Dude, sick set.
Killer
bro.
set?
Yeah.
Killer set, sick set?
Wow, you're really good. And then the person goes, I'm not in a band. Like they didn't even see the band play, you know?
I thought that was you up on the stage. Man, my boner was so hard after that set. Yeah, you know.
Dude, a guy did that to me recently. We were literally setting up at Gino's to play our set. And I asked the guy, or no. I did. I asked him to move out of the way because his gear was still in the way, and I was like, "Hey, do you need help moving your stuff?" And he set my stuff. Side note: nothing drives me more insane than a drummer that tears down his drum set on the stage.
Oh, as somebody who booked shows for years, you ain't gotta tell me how many bands I'm like, get your shit off stage so the next band can set up, please.
Yeah, he goes to me. I was like, "Hey, man, you had a sick set tonight," and he goes, "Yeah, you too, man. I really enjoyed yours." And I was just like,
"You're an asshole."
We haven't played yet. Like, we're setting up to play right now.
So, besides the band stuff, you're also a tattoo artist and a pyrographer. Now, for those of you at home that don't know what a pyrographer is, Jay is going to explain this to you.
Okay, so it's pretty funny to me how many people don't know the term pyrography. But it's, I don't know, it might be what it sounds like. Wood burning. You know,
pyro, as in fire.
The Latin term.
Ographer.
And I mean, wood burning is the simple term. I draw on pieces of wood by burning into it with a hot pen.
Now, I think you may also do this stuff. Jay doesn't do the traditional flowers and trees like you see a lot of wood burning people do.
Mm-hmm.
He does a lot of very pop culture nerdy things and like portraits and super cool shit like that.
Yeah,
so.
Pop culture is definitely my favorite thing to do for sure. Like, if somebody comes to me, like, I try to do a good job on everything I do with art, but if you come to me with like something that really excites me, you know, I'm shooting to do something phenomenal, you know, like if it's something that really gets me going, I'm just like, I want this to look as good as possible.
Yeah. Now, so this question, I guess, is, did the pyrography thing, is that kind of what led you into doing tattooing?
No. Okay, so I've always been an artist. I used to just, you know, draw whatever. I've always been like, this is one thing, one of the harder transitions for me becoming a tattoo artist is the fact that I've always been an artist and I know that I'm good at art as far as drawing stuff. But it's when I look at things, that's what I do. Like, I'm more into realism, whether or not it's trying to draw a portrait of TJ, or if it's trying to draw Homer Simpson. Even though one's a cartoon and one is an actual person, the realism side of me in the OCD is I want them both to look exactly the way that they're supposed to look.
Right.
So that's when I get, like, really caught up in detail and everything.
That's your Zen moment of your...
Yeah, exactly. So, but on the offhand of that is the problem is that I've never been like a creative artist. I've never been one of those people that has an idea in my head and I see it on a canvas and I need to translate that. That's not me. So that's one thing that's been hard for me with doing tattoos, is because so many people come in going, you're the tattoo artist, your job is to come up with this, so you take my idea and run with it. And I'm just like, that's not what I do. Like, that's not how I've been. Like, I want you to go, I want this font and I want these words and I want this picture of this, crush it. And I'll be like, okay, I'll do that.
I want this portrait of my wife done like Darth Vader. Buddy, I don't know what to do there. You know, I totally get that. You could make it work though, because that would be, ooh, this is a challenge.
Oh no, and I would make it work. And I mean, and that's the other thing is sometimes is I'm sitting here being like, all right, I'll do it, but it's gonna look like shit. And then it comes out and it does look good, but it's not as good as I saw in my head.
Because as I said before about the musician thing, all artists are self-deprecating. They're all, they're
exactly. And unfortunately, I play drums. I kind of play guitar. I'm an artist on paper. I do wood burnings, and I'm a tattoo artist. So I have all these things that I do that I think I'm pretty good at, but I'm constantly telling myself I suck at. So it's like almost like a weird artistic multiple personality thing going on.
Yeah, no, I hear you. You know, I hear you. I always fancied myself as an artist growing up, and then I realized I really did suck. It wasn't very good at it. So that's about the time I really started getting into music and doing that stuff, and I just kind of left the art thing on the table. And then when I got done doing the music stuff, I always liked to write, so I started doing the writing thing, and then, you know, I still do that, and I still miss doing the band stuff, but I don't know. I haven't found the right thing yet. I need to find some old guys that don't want to tour and don't want to do anything.
Yeah, right.
Want to play everything from like death metal to like, you know, like Nathaniel Ratcliffe and Clutch and Johnny Cash.
Oh,
and
yeah, Daniel Radcliffe.
And play like everything, you know, and do like some Mighty Mighty Boss Stones stuff and Misfits and just kind of... I want to be that band that plays and just has fun with it, and nobody has a clue what's coming next. You know, we're going from like a Johnny Cash style country tune into like Cannibal Corpse, you know, type stuff.
Right.
So
there you go.
Why not?
Yeah, I think that's something there. Johnny Cash, Cannibal Corpse mixture.
Yeah.
Digging it. Yeah.
Cannibal Cash.
Nice. There you go, man. That's
the
good.
Cannibal Corpse Johnny Cash mashup. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, because Johnny Corpse is just...
Yeah, Cannibal Cash.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, yeah, no, I think wood burning is going to be kind of a seasonal job. I mean, we'll see how this first one goes. Like, unfortunately, I'm in like a really weird point in my life where I've switched careers and... I quit my job as a server. I've been waiting tables for 13 years and I'm officially done with that. And I got a baby on the way right before winter. And winter I feel like is a slow season for tattooing. Tattooing's my new job that I'm still building clienteles. And I got a baby that's going to need to be fed. So I'm thinking wood burning might be my saving grace because everybody around Christmas time.
Yeah. It's a good gift. It's a good gift.
It is for sure.
If not, I have a spot on the corner out here. I mean, I take a small cut. You know, I can pimp you out. It's might not. You know,
but
I
mean, just don't hit me.
No. I whisper sweet nothings into your ear. That's way better. Positive affirmation. You know.
All right. No branding.
Yeah. No. I'll just make you wear. I'll just get you a little patch for your shirt. So you put it on your tie or whatever you're gonna wear.
Yeah,
your leather dog collar. You know, depending on which corner I'm putting him on.
That'll be a new age of prostitution. Excuse me, do you work here? You have a name tag on.
Hi, you're Jay. Oh, I've heard about you.
Yeah, not enough flair.
Listen, I got 75. What does that give me? You know, it's like I think it was Beer Fest. You know.
Yeah, ZJ.
You gotta ask.
You can't afford it.
Well, so we've already killed like 40 something minutes, so let's we were discussing what movies to talk about because, you know, everybody that listens to the show.
Well, real quick, I think out of all that, I didn't even say that I work at Forecastle Tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
So, I will just say that real quick. In Bangor, side note, I do work at Forecastle Tattoos, so hit me up, Jay Cochran. You need a tattoo or pyrography piece. You want a nice portrait of your mother? You hit me up.
Where can people check out Holy Filth online?
Oh, and
too?
Holy Filth, I think Bandcamp would be the easiest thing. Honestly, we do have a Facebook page.
They have the Facebook and the Instagram
we got the
and
Facebook,
Twitter and stuff.
We got the Instagram. We don't have the Twitter.
Don't have the Twitter yet.
We don't have
Tinder?
Yeah. No Tinder. Grindr.
Holy Filth Grinder.
Yeah, Holy Filth Grinder. ChristianMingle.com.
Which is the same.
BlackPeopleMeet.com.
Farmers Only.
Farmers Only. You can't forget any of those.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, did we get everything legitimately in there? Oh.
Does Forecastle Tattoo have a website?
We have a web page on Facebook. So Sam has the actual Forecastle page on Facebook, and then I think it's at J Forecastle Tattoo on Facebook.
I'll try to find it and link it in the thing so people can click on it.
So there's that, and then my Instagram for
only
my pyrography.
Only artistic dick pics.
Yes, please. Stunt cocks only.
That's right. If they're not artistic, don't send them.
I will say Instagram for my wood burnings, if you want to check those out, is at JC Pyrography. So JAYC Pyrography.
I'll also include that because that's a big word. So we were talking about like what movies to discuss beforehand, and I think we settled on two that we're both very fond of.
Yes.
One of them's movie poster is sitting right behind us, and you can't see this because this is an audio podcast.
Immediately.
So, and that is Jaws. Now, Jaws is my favorite movie ever. I've probably watched it. The only thing I've watched probably as much as Jaws is Star Wars. So.
Yeah. And
there's so many. The thing is, the movie's 42 years old now.
Is it?
Yeah, it came out in 75.
Oh yeah.
1975. So the movie's 42 years old now. Still holds up.
Oh my god.
Still awesome.
Dude.
Still quotable. Still creepy.
Oh yeah.
And I've probably seen this movie. I'm not lying when I say I've probably seen the movie 100 times plus. Anyway.
Oh, definitely.
It's one of those I watch at least once or twice a year or more sometimes.
No, I don't. Jaws is just one of those movies. Like my fiance would laugh at me because I get speechless when I go to talk about it because it's just there's something about the movie that it's like Jaws to me is perfect. It really is. I can't really find. Yes, some people say the shark looks a little cheesy nowadays. Whatever. No.
I still think it looks amazing for how it was done, and just to me, there's nothing bad about that movie. It's 2 hours and something long, and it feels like it's half an hour when I watch it.
Yeah,
it's just like it's over and done with it. I get so wrapped up in it every time that I watch that movie.
The scene where they're at night in the bottom of the boat singing and drinking is one of the most organic, just pure scenes I've ever seen in a movie. I don't know what it is about that, but I get goosebumps when I watch that part.
That reminds me of like just how I would be hanging out with my friends and we have a few drinks and get a little goofy and just start doing something stupid, you know.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that reminds me of every time. Quint's speech, I mean, pretty much totally off the cuff.
Yeah, it was all like ad-lib, wasn't it?
Yeah, the original speech was complete. He like completely ad-libbed that.
Yeah.
And that still gives me chills every time that he says it, you know. Mm-hmm. His delivery was just spot on. It was just it was.
I'm getting a photo that I'm going to blow up and put in a frame for the shop. Kimberly tagged me in it, and it was when they were taking a break on the set. And it's in the scene right before Jaws like eats him at the end.
Yeah.
And he's just laying right next to the shark, and they're like half in the water, and he's just got his hands behind his head, his legs crossed, he's laying right out on the boat, and Jaws is just laying right next to him, half eating the boat. And it's just it's beautiful photo. And it's funny because you have to be a certain kind of person to think that something like that is beautiful.
Oh yeah, I do. There's a picture of Spielberg in Jaws in Bruce's mouth. For those of you who don't know, the shark's name is Bruce, and they had, I think, 2 or 3 of them. They had one that was like a stationary, then they had the fin, and then they had the full shark that they towed with the boat and the whole deal. And yeah, but there's a picture of him like Spielberg in the mouth of the shark, and he's smiling and like, I was like, that is such an awesome picture, you know.
It's so good.
And I don't think there's another movie that I can think of off the top of my head that freaked people out like to the extent and caused the panic that did. Maybe War of the Worlds, but that was a radio broadcast.
Yeah, that's true.
But that kind of, you know, that whole fear of going to the beach and going to the water. When I was a little kid, I lived on a lake in the summertime. I didn't want to go swimming in the lake because I saw that when I was way too young. And I didn't dare go past like the end of my dock. The water, it's fresh water, mind you, and like 3 feet deep. And I'm just like, every time I'd get in, I'd be looking for a fin.
Yeah.
You know, and just like it gave you that mindset every time I was on the water.
I still to this day, dark water just terrifies me. Like literally, there's not much that terrifies me, but dark water does. And I always get that feeling when I stand on the end of a dock and I look down into the water and I can't see anything and I just keep seeing Jaws jump out of the water at me.
Every time I go deep sea fishing and I'm standing on the back of the boat, I'll have one of those moments where everything is quiet and I'm just fishing and you hear the seagulls, and in the back of my head I hear dun 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 dun, and I'm just waiting because I still want to deliver the Brody line of, you know, go up and whoever's running the boat and be like, I think you're gonna need a bigger boat, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Or chum some of this shit, one or the other, you know.
Oh yeah, well, speaking of having a son on the way, I mean, imagine how many times I'm gonna have to keep myself from not saying when I'm taking pictures of him, you know, smile, you son of a bitch.
So the child's full name is gonna be Brody Quint
Joffrin.
That flows so well. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, so you talk to the lady and just say, you know, hey, TJ recommended.
Throw it in there. I'll see what I
I'll
can
throw it in there.
We've been calling him Mad Mardigan from Willow.
From Willow, yes.
Yeah, that's Kimberly loves that movie, and we're not announcing his name until he's born.
Who doesn't love Willow?
Well, it's funny because Mad Mardigan's one of those things where you either tell somebody and they immediately know, or they're just like, okay.
Is that a goat?
Yeah.
That's what I think of. Mad Mardigan. So, I think most people our age, you know, pretty much grew up with that movie. So yeah, most people would get that reference. And yeah. But Jaws is just one of those timeless films. That is like, there's a handful of movies that are on my, if you ever remake this list, I will find you and kill you type thing. You know, it's just like, and obviously I don't mean that for real people, so please don't, you know, like flag me.
CIA just bust through the window.
I'm just saying, but there is a handful of movies that it's like, you don't ever touch these.
Yeah. Because
you can't. It's like we were talking about the lightning in a bottle thing.
Yeah.
It was like the perfect storm. You don't remake Aliens. You don't remake Jaws. You know, there's just certain movies that the original Star Wars movies even.
Don't remake The Shining.
You don't. Well, he kind of did, but.
Well, he kind of did, but I mean, after everything that's been done.
Kubrick's version, yeah. You wouldn't go and remake Apocalypse Now. You wouldn't, you know. It's just there's movies you do not touch. The Godfather. No, you don't remake The Godfather.
Jaws for me, for sure, because like I can't tell you the amount of times that we've seen these new shark movies come out and they've put on it, you know, the scariest movie since Jaws or scarier than Jaws, and every time I hear that I go, nope.
And I look at that and I'd be like, Jaws came out 40 years ago, it's still more terrifying. And Jaws isn't a scary movie. It's really not. It's not a scary movie.
Right.
But it's one of those movies that creeps into your subconscious and stays there. Mm-hmm. That's what makes it scary, because you constantly think about it. There's constantly things that happen in that movie that you just think about in certain situations, and that to me is like truly the most terrifying thing about that, because of the resonating effect that it had. beyond just people seeing it in the... Not to mention, I mean, it was like the first honest-to-God summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
You know, that pretty much set precedence for everything that's come after since then, so... Now, another movie, completely on the opposite end of the spectrum, and also one of my absolute favorite movies, is Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead, but I could watch that movie every
And I still laugh my ass off every time, even though I know the lines almost verbatim at times.
Yeah.
And I've seen it so much, and you know everything that's coming, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
They're coming to get you, Barbara. It's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
there's
a
so
girl and
many
a god
stupid things in there that it's like referencing to other things, too, that if you're like a horror nerd, you're going to pick up on that other people are just... I don't understand why that's so funny. That was a movie made by nerds and people that love that stuff for other nerds.
Yeah.
It really was.
Well, there was
you
a
know?
lot of things in that movie too that were really subtle in the sense that, like, you know, at the beginning of the movie, Sean is going to the grocery store and he gets hit by the soccer ball and he says to the kid, "Hey, you're dead." The next time you see him, that kid's dead. He's a zombie. Then there's like other parts where, you know, they're talking about leaving the door open. And then, like, you don't realize until you watch it a couple times or you actually see the zombie come in that time. But then all of a sudden he's in the house. And then there's, like, with Pete, when Pete is yelling at Ed and then he goes, "Next time I see him, he's a dead man," or "He's dead." And then the next time you see him, he is a zombie and he is dead. And, like, you know, saying it out loud, it might not know. Anybody that hasn't seen it's probably like, okay,
what's the big deal about that?
But
in context of everything going on. Oh yeah. And it's like the scene with him going to the store every day and, you know, putting the money and grabbing the stuff. He's so oblivious to everything going on around him. It's just his normal morning stroll to go.
He
You know,
slipped on blood and didn't even realize
it. Yeah. There's actually, to be truthful, there's a lot of social commentary in that movie,
Right.
but it's hidden under all the other things. You know, it's not in your face. Where a lot of movies that try to have that commentary are real up in your face about it, and they're just kind of preachy, and you know that film doesn't have that feeling. So, but yeah, it's just one of those films. That's a brilliant movie from start to finish.
They call it a rom-com with zombies. Yeah, romantic comedy with zombies.
Yeah, I don't know if I completely agree with that. I can see yes, just because I feel weird about watching rom-coms in general as a single guy. Maybe that's why I'm single right now, because you know, I'm not into the rom-coms. But ladies, if you like horrors and big husky dudes that are like 6 foot something, you know, hit me up on Instagram, Facebook.
6 foot something. Could be 6'1", could be 6'9", you know.
That's right. I'm leaving it wide open. So yeah. But
yeah, with Shaun of the Dead, that's one of those movies where I always wished that there would be a sequel, but then I was like, how? And
well, they were going to do that one. I don't know if you ever heard about, they were talking about doing one called From Dusk Till Shaun.
Oh, no, I didn't.
And it was supposed to be kind of a sequel to Shaun of the Dead, but it was supposed to be kind of in like the friggin' From Dusk Till Dawn universe.
Yeah.
But same idea, but it was like a loose sequel because Ed was going to be back alive.
Oh, okay, so that's what I was wondering. So it would be like...
It would be a separate movie, but a sequel, you know what I mean? It was, one of those...
like Black Sheep from Tommy Boy.
Yeah, Tommy Boy Black. Yeah. Same kind of characters, you know,
it was pretty much the same movie.
The same cast coming back, but kind of parried in something else from what I understood, and it never happened. But they did The World's End, and
World's End was good.
And I absolutely love Hot Fuzz as well. Hot Fuzz is very underrated in my opinion.
I love Hot Fuzz, but the first hour is like...
But once it gets going, it's so good.
Going, it's great, but it's only the last like 40 minutes or a half hour or something.
But it's worth it to me.
Yeah.
It's not as good as Shaun of the Dead, I don't think, but it's still awesome. And World's End is good in its own rights, but it's definitely the weakest. Now, out of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost movies, though, I love Paul, and a lot of people
like Paul. Paul is a good one.
A lot of people I know don't like that movie. Yeah. I think it's hilarious, but
well, it's like you got Super Troopers and Beer Fest and Club Dread, like, And then you've got
Slammin' Salmon.
Slammin' Salmon was better than Club Dread.
I see. I like all of those. So I'm actually a Club Dread fan, but Slammin' Salmon, like you never hear anybody talk about it. That was like legitimately funny.
Yeah, I thought it was good, but I've also been a waiter for a long time, so I thought it was.
My parents owned a restaurant for 13 years, so
So yeah, I thought it was great, but I figured it's because of that reason. And then you've got like Cable Guy. Cable Guy is one of those movies that it blows my mind how many people tell me that they hate that movie. They think that that's the worst Jim Carrey
because
movie
it's it's a dark comedy.
Ben Stiller directed it.
It's a dark comedy. A lot of people don't get dark comedy though. I find most metal musicians get dark comedy.
Yeah.
If you know what, it's just it's our warped, twisted perspective of things, I guess. Yeah. It's going back to that whole we see things a lot differently, I think, than other people do.
Oh, definitely.
Just because we like things dark and brooding doesn't mean we're scary and mean. It's quite the opposite.
It really is.
So
we let it out in the music.
That's right. I was once told, I think I've mentioned it on the show before, I had a girl come up to me one time and said, "My friend wants to tell you that you're really awesome." And I'm like, "Well, thank you." I was like, "Why doesn't she come up?" She said, "Because she is scared shitless of you. She's afraid you're like gonna bite her head off or something." I'm like, "Really?" I was like, "Where is she?" She points to her. I was like, "Tell her to come over." I said, "I'm like one of the most easygoing people you will ever meet." And she's just like, the girl come up. She's just like, "You're just really scary on stage. Your eyes roll back in your head when you're screaming, and you just look like you're gonna kick the shit out of somebody all the time when you're on." And I'm like, "That's on stage, TJ. Off stage, TJ is the exact opposite."
Yeah, right. Like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
That's right. I'm like, I'm just a big dumb animal. Just give me a hug, feed me treats, and I'm happy. I don't take much. So. But yeah, so speaking of Nick Frost, did you ever see Attack the Block?
No.
You need to watch Attack the Block. Okay, it's got John Boyega from The Force Awakens.
Okay.
He's in it.
Yeah.
Very different. It's about an alien attack in England, and you gotta watch. It's hard to explain it, but if you can find it, Attack the Block. Very cool.
Is it on Netflix or anything?
I don't have a clue where you'd find it. My favorite store, Bull Moose Music.
Yeah. I love
so Bull Moose, I'm looking for sponsors still. Like, again, I mentioned this, I think, every show. So just, like I said, I'm pretty easy. Give me hugs, feed me stuff, maybe a gift certificate. I don't care, whatever. But, so I spend a lot of money at Bull Moose. That's like my go-to place for pretty much everything on the planet under the sun. And yeah. And two of Jay's bandmates work there.
That's true. Ryan and Justin.
So you can go in and say, "Hey, I heard about Holy Filth on Average Joe's Drive-In."
That's right.
So you should you should sponsor Average Joe's Drive-In because I heard about you on there. Tell them, bug them until they have to. Yeah. Either that or they file a restraining order and keep me out of the store, and then I won't be sad. And I'll have to start wearing a costume and so I can get in there and buy my wares. So, but yeah, so we're hitting over the hour mark, and we got to wrap things up because Jay's got a long drive home. And I want to thank you, man, for coming in, hanging out, and chatting. It was good. We'll definitely do it again. And I want to remind you guys to check out Average Joe's Drive-In on Facebook. Just search for Average Joe's Drive-In. ThomasWashburnJr.com. There's links to my book stuff. Average Joe's Drive-In on there. My updates, my blogs, all that stuff. I'm also on Instagram. Look up Thomas Washburn Jr. It's pretty easy to find me on there. Also, please make sure you check our sponsors out. Go to www.maincannababes.com because who doesn't like looking at beautiful women purchasing stuff for great causes? And if you like weed, it's a real extra bonus. So anyway, thank you guys. This is Average Joe's Drive-In. I am your host, TJ Washburn, and I will see you sexy animals on the flip side.